I couldn't have been more excited about the next stop on my must-see list in Ensenada. All my chef friends had told me that Sabina Bandera Gonzalez seafood would be the best I would have here. Now, I knew that Mariscos La Guerrerense had been operating since the 60s, but what I didn't know is that her restaurant was really just a little wheeled cart on the side of a downtown street. But I figured out right away that Sabina didn't need a big place to serve impressive fresh seafood. Just a little prep kitchen at her home and the entire ocean as her backyard. I wanted to try a little bit of everything here. Sabina began chopping up some tender-boiled octopus, and her daughter shelled out one of those great big pismo clams, the ones that they call almeja blanca. They also had some strongly flavored dark pata de mula clam. She cut up bits of sea whelk that she had simmered until tender. Raw scallop and some cooked mussels also were added to the plate. Then some onion and a dose of her homemade hot sauce, a recipe she wouldn't share with me.
¿Cuál chile es este?
Este lo hago yo, es el secreto.
Es el secreto.
Es el secreto.
She cut the tips off the little regional key limes and then put them into the juicer whole and squeezed it over the entire platter. A little avocado and this tsunami of seafood was complete.
Muchísimas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, ya sabe, a ver, provecho.
A ver, muchas gracias. Oh, that's delicious. Now, there's one thing that I can't leave without having. Well, two things. One is the famous tostada de erizo, or the sea urchin tostada. And the second thing, of course, is all of these homemade salsas here. Una tostada de erizo, por favor. Y si quiero algo un poquito picoso, ¿qué le pongo?
Picoso, me gusta mucho el exótico.
El exótico. Oh, okay, so this is a couple of different kinds of chilies made into an exotic salsa. Well, this is probably about one of the most exotic things that I think I've ever eaten. Delicioso.
Qué bueno que le gusta.
Delicioso.
Qué bueno que le gusta.
So just think about it. You're here in Ensenada. You're watching all those fishing boats come into the harbor, and all you can think about is fresh seafood. Well, you'll never get it any fresher than at La Guerrerense.
A little off the beaten path is another Ensenada favorite for fish tacos. A different kind of fish tacos.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Hey, how are you? What can I do for you, buddy?
What do we have?
We have the very best tacos in Ensenada, man. I got some machaca made from tuna, yellowfin tuna. I got some chicharrón from whitefish. We sell only shellfish, fish and shellfishes.
All
okay?
right.
And the very famous shrimp with the chipotle sauce.
Now that's what everybody in Ensenada told me I had to have. But I think I got to have one of each one of these things. So if you could make me one of each one, I would really appreciate it.
Here's one. There you are, buddy.
Thank you. I'm heading over to the Condiments, which is super cool here. First of all, I'm going to start with a little lime that I'm going to put over the chicharrones, and then some cilantro for the shrimp in the chipotle sauce. And then look at this. 6 different kinds of onions. There's the raw whites, the ones with black olives, chipotle, green chili, habanero, reds with some oregano in it, some creamy sauces back here. I'm going to take a little of this cilantro cream and put that over the top of the chicharrón de pescado there. Different kinds of chili sauces. This is a creamy chipotle, but it's a little bit brighter flavor than what you find on the shrimp taco. So I'll just gild the lily with a little of that. You know, Ensenada is just filled with places that have fish tacos, but what makes each one of the places so unique is, well, all of their condiments.
Can I chop up that shrimp?
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. While I make the sauce. Chipotle cream sauce. It's like everybody's favorite. Well, because it's rich, smoky and spicy, a little sweet. And to tell you the truth, it's really, really easy to make. Well, easy if you start with fire-roasted canned tomatoes. I mean, yeah, sure, you could go out and get some really beautiful ripe tomatoes and then roast them and use them for a sauce like this. But with fire-roasted tomatoes in a can, all that work is really done quickly. Now I'm going to drain this can just a little bit. Don't need to pour off very much of the liquid. And then I'm going to put half of that can of tomatoes in the blender jar here. Now for the chipotles, I'm going to fish out a couple of these guys and then chop them roughly and put those in the blender along with a little bit of garlic here. All I did was to break apart a head of garlic, roast them for about 15 minutes until they're a little bit blackened on the outside. Okay, that garlic now is going to go into the blender jar, and then we're going to blend everything to a smooth puree. Now our chipotle base is going to get cooked down until it reaches the consistency of a kind of tomato paste. I'm going to film the bottom of this skillet with a little bit of olive oil and then heat it over medium-high. Now when that oil is hot enough to make a little bit of that puree sizzle sharply like that, add the puree all at once and cook it down until it's that consistency of tomato paste. Now comes that touch of luxury. I have Mexican crema, which is very similar to the French creme fraiche. And I'm going to add that to our roasted tomato and chipotle mix there. While that melts in, I'm going to sprinkle in a little Mexican oregano. This is always sold in the whole leaf version, so you always crush it between your palms. A little black pepper. And then, of course, we're going to give it a seasoning of salt. When this comes to a good simmer, it'll be ready to add the shrimp to it. Take about 3 minutes or so for the shrimp to get cooked all the way to the center. You want the pieces to have lost their last little bit of translucency right at the center. Going to slide this right in here. These are done in the Ensenada fish market style. These are little griddle baked tostadas, and they got that real crunchy, almost popcorn kind of flavor to them. I work with a guy here in town that he works for
Happy.
Now this sauce is the one that Lainey made, and it's made from arbol chilies, and it is straight ahead,
yes,
red chili flavor. And
as
if
I
you
said,
like,
it's not for the mild-hearted.
it is so delicious. When you have it with this cream, there's nothing like it. Okay, so help yourselves. It's not really all that hot. And especially Ensenada, it's not very hot at all. Cheers, everybody.